of allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. You may be seated. Okay, Todd, could you give us a roll call for attendance?
Randy Atkins.
Yes.
Bill Johnson.
Here.
Lois Jones.
Here.
Bruce Long.
Here.
John Pearson.
Here.
Daniel Young.
Here.
Ed Hartman.
Here. Okay. Next item on the agenda is approval of minutes for April 7th, 2025.
Mr. President, we didn't silence the phones.
Oh, thank you.
Thank you.
If you would take a minute and silence your cell phones so that we're not interrupted.
No, I am worried about it. I get it.
Okay. In your packets, we have the minutes from April 7th. Are there any corrections or additions to the minutes? We start at 6 o'clock.
Last meeting,
Yes,
we started at 6 o'clock.
6 o'clock. We need to make that small correction to the minutes. Is there anything else? Okay, I'll call for a motion. Someone would like to make one.
I'll make a motion to approve the minutes with the correction of 6:30 to 6 p.m. start time.
Okay, motion by Mr. Atkins. Do we have a second?
I'll second that.
We have a second from Mrs. Jones. Do we have a roll call vote, please?
Randy Atkins.
Yes.
Bill Johnson.
I abstain, but for one reason, it's really hard to hear you on the telephone. It's really tough to pick it all up. You don't talk real loud, I can't pick it up. It's not hard to hear you, I don't think.
Lois Jones.
Yes.
Bruce Long.
No, I wasn't here.
Abstain,
You
I
abstain?
took stink.
John Pearson.
Yes.
Daniel Young.
Abstain, was not present.
Ed Hartman.
Yes. Motion passed. Okay, moving on to new business. First one on the agenda is the Sweetser store sign, docket 00625. Will the petitioner please take the stand and sign in and put your address there on the sign-in sheet as well. This will be a public hearing.
And I'll briefly go through the rules of a public hearing. The petitioner has 15 minutes to state his reasons for this petition, what he wants to do. Then, if there is any opposition, they have 25 minutes to state their side and their evidence. And then the petitioner, again, has a 10-minute period of rebuttal. Not all time has to be used, of course, but those are the limits. Todd, would you be timekeeper for that? Thank you.
Fifteen minutes.
Yes. Mr. Kumar, when you are ready, you may begin.
Okay, thank you, sir. Good evening, everyone. Mr. Chairman, board members, and respected public members. So I'm here to request respectfully adjoining variance to install a pylon sign to promote our new business. That's a liquor store in Switzer. It's a small business. The sign is essential for visibility due to, first, distance from the main road. Second, existing obstruction because there are trees all around. And speed limit of the nearby road making small sign ineffective because that has got like 55. No doubt we have the reduced speed limit that is again 45. So it will have impact on the business. It will enhance public awareness of our new business and contribute to local economic activity. It supports navigation and safety of customers entering and exiting because the sign will definitely help them people to, hey, you have to enter from here. So that will help for like in entering and exiting the liquor store. Without the variation, we face significant limitations in reaching potential customers because it's a new business. So it's really hard to reach out to customers that, okay, this is a new liquor store in our area. There will be definitely community benefits. First, obviously, we will be hiring local people and new jobs will be created. Increased traffic to the area, obviously, because of the liquor store, new business to the area, so there will be more traffic. And obviously, I mean, there will be revenues, sales tax and all that. So it will be enhancement to the local economy. Now, the justification of variance, it will have no significant impact. No negative impact on the surroundings because the lights and everything will be just, we will use LED lightings and those will be low LED. So it will be just focused low, so it will not enhance any nearby house or any nearby traffic. And we have community support also. So I got like, I discussed with some of the customers who visited the liquor store, so gave me more than 10 letters of support.
Would you give those to Mr. Glancy?
Yeah, sure.
Pass found.
And you can pass them out and take a look at them first.
So the design and compliance of the sign will be professionally constructed. We have hired a professional company who is in business for more than 30 years. His name is Mr. Dave, and he's in business for more than 30 years. He's in Muncie, so he will be installing that sign. So sign is professionally constructed, code compliant for structural integrity. It will be a 10-foot sign, and it is a thick, thick pole. And lightning will be non-blinking, downward-facing LED. And it has got setback from the right-of-way. From the state highway, we have 18 feet. So sign is well beyond 18 feet. It will be more than little bit 18 feet from the state highway. And from the Broadway, it's more than 18 feet, so I think 19 feet. So it will have no impact on any traffic. So keeping in all these facts and circumstances, we respectfully ask the board to approve the variance so we may erect a safe, attractive pylon sign that allows us to succeed in this location. We are committed to bring a good neighborhood and contribute to Grant County growth. Thank you for your time and consideration. Thank you very much.
Yes, sir. Okay. We will probably have some questions for you at the end. Oh, okay. Is that all right with everybody? Well,
I have this design of the sign. I can, I think
We got it.
you have it. Okay. And this location, it was approved already basically when the state release was issued when we started the construction. So this pylon sign was shown in the drawings when it was released. So if you see, these drawings were approved and there is a pylon sign here in the corner.
Right, they all have that.
Okay. And we are a small business, so we respectfully, request that just to make us successful in this location.
yeah, that would be the new one. That's, you can see that's a drawing or imposed.
I have a. May I ask a question here?
Yes.
Well, I think it'd be helpful from this point. What's the distance from the sign
To the state, as of the state highway?
to this right away? Is it this line right here?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, it's your right away. What's the distance between right here and right here?
So because from the Broadway, Broadway is more than 18 feet. So it will be, and Broadway doesn't have more than, I think, 10 or 12 feet of right of way. So it should be like 5 or 6 feet from this side.
Right.
More than 5 or 6 feet.
So in our ordinance, we have a setback of 5 feet from the right of way.
Yeah, that will be more than that.
So this is the right of way. If we had it, it would be very clear for everyone. We knew what that distance was between this right of way and this right of way.
So if I understood correctly, from Broadway, it's 19 feet. From the state highway, the sign location is 18 feet. So from from Broadway, I don't know how much is the right of way. It may not be more than 10 feet, maybe. Because state highway is 18 feet, so Broadway is a local street, so it should not be more than 10 feet. If we talk about that, then we will be more than 5 feet from Broadway, definitely right of way.
And so that's, I sent Randy out today
Yeah, Randy was at the location and
just to absolutely make sure. But he's measuring from the edge of the road. We're not surveyors, we don't have that equipment to go out and survey exactly how far it is from the right.
And if there is like 3, 4 feet, 5 feet this way or that way, we can adjust to that. That's not a big deal.
Okay, maybe I'll save that for the final discussion. Okay, thank you. You may be seated.
Thank you, sir. Thank you very much, everyone.
Is there any opposition to this petition? Hearing none, I believe we can close the public hearing. There won't be a need for a rebuttal, but there will be board discussion, which can include questions of the petitioner. Okay, so the public hearing is closed and we'll move to board discussion at this point. Are there any questions from the members of the board?
Yes, I have a question.
Yes, Lois.
The Indiana Department of Transportation, have you heard from them or?
We have. They actually did send up a drawing as well. And we also got a drawing from Ashton Surveyor. And if you look close at these drawings, along the state highway, it says 50-foot right-of-way. So that would be measured from the center of the road there. Now, you'll also see that you got a drawing from Beacon, and this is, this is not official like a surveyor, but it looks fairly close. Down at the bottom here, you see a scale of 40 feet, and they have imposed this yellow line signifying the right-of-way, the red line in the middle of the road, and that is greater than the 40-foot distance by a little bit. So it could be that this is in agreement with the state drawing and the drawing from the Ashton Surveyor, noting a 50-foot right-of-way. So that, along with the 5-foot that we saw in this table for signs, Mr. Glancy got for us here, shows setback feet from the edge of right-of-way as 5 feet is what we believe that signifies. So that would be from the center of the road then, 55 feet would be the closest that you could be. And Broadway also has the same setback on the Ashton Surveyor drawing of 50 feet, and you can see it on the state drawing as well. Okay, so I think we feel fairly confident that we could say 55 feet is the closest you can be to the center of the road. Now, sometimes there's a pin from the last survey in the center of the road. Otherwise, it gets difficult to be exact. So I would suggest not trying to be too close to exact, or you might be over. This highway's 2 lanes now. If at some point they wanted to widen it to 4 lanes, there's plenty of room in that right-of-way. But you wouldn't want to get too close to it. Does anybody have any questions?
Is this an LED sign?
Okay, lighting, you mentioned LED, and that's a good question. Is it LED lights shining at the sign, or is the sign light up inside? You can take the stand, please.
Thank you, sir. So I discussed with the installer. So he told me those will be inside the sign.
Okay, so
Yeah.
it's illuminated from inside.
Yeah, from
Okay.
inside.
And you can vary the intensity of the light?
I can ask him. I didn't ask this question, but I think we cannot vary. He told me it will be fixed. It can't be dimming sign.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, being able to dim it would be a good thing in case it lights up the residences in the area.
Yeah,
And they
yeah.
complain about that.
I can definitely ask him this question. Yes, sir.
And also the traffic.
And yeah,
Yeah, obviously we don't want traffic to be disturbed within the with light.
don't want to
Yeah, yeah.
blind people coming down the road.
Absolutely, sir. Yeah, yeah. In fact, what happened, some neighbors told me that the parking lights were they are falling on their houses. So we switched off those lights on. And we are changing all the parking lot lights to make them downward. So we are changing all the lights. One light is permanently switched off till then when somebody told me that some neighbors were. So that light is permanently closed since then. So we want to obey all rules, regulations, and obviously we want to be successful. So we can't annoy neighbors, and obviously we want everyone happy.
Yes.
So, yes, sir.
that sign be illuminated 24 hours?
Will the
No,
sign be on 24 hours?
It can be, but during day, I think it doesn't, affect, we can put a switch on it, but, it may be 24 hours, because during day, it doesn't even people will know that it's on or off. During day, you can't, really tell that it's on or off.
But what you're saying is the sign can be on 24 hours. Is the liquor store open 24 hours?
No,
There's no need to have the sign on if the liquor store is not open.
this is, liquor stores usually, right now, we just close 10, 11 at night, so, we can switch off the sign, or we can just dim it, or I will ask the installer what can be the option.
Do we know where it's going actually on this drawing? Is that a tree?
There's a tree right there back.
That is an old picture now.
That's an old picture. I don't know if the tree's still there.
So it's going in this corner.
All that's gravel now.
Yeah, that's all gravel out there. Yeah, there was no tree there.
I have a question
Yes.
about this 6-foot sign. Is that within our dimension? It said it's a 6-foot sign. It's a pretty good sized sign on a post.
Yeah, by the drawing there, it looks more like either 3x6 or 4x8.
3x6, sir.
It is?
3x6.
Here's setback.
That don't match your dimensions.
That's okay. You can switch it around.
Is
6x3.
the setback the edge of the sign or the pole?
I think it should be the edge of the sign.
The edge of the sign. So the
Well,
pole should.
I mean,
Yeah,
Is it-
that
is it-
pole
Yeah,
will be up there.
that's a good observation. Yeah, I think I need to tell the installer that we need to make sure that we have a setback from edge of the pole. Because the pole, the sign will be like this, so it will have setback at least on the state highway. So obviously, yeah, we have to make sure from the edge, it should be a state highway. We will make sure. Perfect. Good observation, and because we didn't think about this question. Thank you, sir.
are there?
One question.
Yes.
Is there a way that that sign could be mounted on the building?
The building, basically, we thought about this thing, but there are so many trees all around. There will be no purpose of it, sir.
You do have a sign on the building now, correct?
Yes, sir, in the front.
Do we have height regulations? Pole height?
Yeah, for Grant County pole, the height sign up is around 40 feet, I think, sir, right? It's very high for Grant County. Height of the signs should be around 40
Yes.
feet.
What's the zone here? Is it general business? Mr. Clancy?
What was the specific question?
Are we zoned in business
Are we general business?
zone?
Yes.
This zone?
Yes.
Thought so.
Sorry.
Okay. The height restriction is 40 feet.
40 feet?
Yes.
You don't want it that high, do you?
No. It will be around 13 feet only.
Okay. Is there any other points of discussion?
Did you say 30 feet high?
13,
13.
1, 3.
Okay, I don't want to write that.
Yeah, 10 plus 3. 10 will be the pole and 3 feet will be the the height of the sign.
Maybe I am hard hearing.
No, sir, no problem, no problem.
Okay, sir, you may sit down again.
Thank you very much, sir. Thank you, everyone.
Okay. At this point, remind the board that you can give approval, or you can reject, or you can give conditional approval. And so those are your options. And I believe we're ready for a motion if someone would like to make one.
I'll make a motion that we accept docket 006-25 on the liquor store.
With the condition, you put the condition because that would be that.
He's done everything. He's all the way back. He's out of the way. I don't care.
Okay.
As long as we know he's at the setback level.
As long as you know he's at the
Well, yeah,
setback. Yeah,
The edge of the sign.
That's what he has to go check it if he's
Yeah.
wrong.
yeah, okay.
I would second that.
Okay. Very good.
There was a second from.
Yes.
Okay. So I did print out these forms. Do we want to go through those or?
I think
It's up to you.
I think we can.
I just want to be prepared.
Yeah, they're good. I think we can fill this out. All right, so we have a motion and a second. If you would give us a roll call, please.
Randy Atkins,
Yes.
Bill Johnson,
Yes.
Lois Jones,
Yes.
Bruce Long,
Yes.
John Pearson,
Yes.
Dan Young,
Yes.
Ed Hartman.
I don't need to vote. Motion passed. Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
You have your variance, sir. You're all set.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you for coming in and doing things the correct way.
Absolutely,
appreciate
sir. We are here to abide all rules and regulations, sir. Sure. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you. Okay, next docket
Thank you.
is
Thank you, sir.
East 200 North, Marion Wireless Communication Facility docket 007-25. Will the petitioner and possibly, I assume the owner is here, take the stand? You would sign in, sir, and fill that out and give us your name.
Start the clock until you start. You think they're ready.
I wasn't sure if I got to go ahead yet. My name is Fred Lau. I'm here with Chaley Tower Consultants, here with petitioner Southern Towers BTSLP. The proposal is for a special exception permit to allow for the installation of communications tower in an agricultural district over on North 200 East, I believe is the correct road. About a mile east of I-69. I always liked with how we ended up here and why we're making this proposal. In the wireless communication world, the carriers that actually have to maintain those signals are constantly doing quality checks on dropped calls, on missed calls, on bad coverage. In this case, Verizon Wireless indicated that they have a service problem in the area that we proposed the tower. The first thing that happens is they contact a company like us to come out and do a survey of the existing towers in the area and see if there's a tower that's in the area that they need service that we can co-locate on. It's cheaper for them, but also gets it quicker to market. In this case, there was no existing tall structure in that area that would satisfy the performance requirements that they were trying to achieve with the improvement to their system. Once we determined that, then we start talking to property owners, and we read the zoning ordinance to make sure we, if we can, meet the requirements of the zoning ordinance. In this case, we were able to lease property from Mr. Corey and design the site for as low as a height as we needed to achieve the performance goals that we were looking for on the RF engineer's behalf. In this case, the tower is to be 195 foot tall. That gives Verizon Wireless a centerline radiation of 190, which the RF engineers confirmed meets their performance goals for their improvements. I believe you should have the submittal that we did. This particular special exception is governed under section 153 of the ordinance. And we try to go through the ordinance and give you response to each individual points and what our response is and why we think we meet the requirements. In this case, I believe we meet all the dimensional requirements and don't have any omissions that I can think of. We also preemptively submitted our FAA pre-evaluation. We haven't done the FAA filing, but the pre-evaluation indicates that we won't have to light the tower, which we try to avoid for two reasons. Try to avoid it because it costs more to light it, and we have to maintain it. The other reason is it's less of a nuisance if it's not another light that's in the night sky. So both of those are always good for us. We try to keep it in a situation where we don't, when we can achieve the performance goals that we can and stay under that lit height. In this case, we also filed a engineer's letter on tower design that confirms that the height we are away from the public road is beyond the fall zone for the tower. Just basically a safety, and that meets the Indiana state statute. The leased area is about 100 foot by 100 foot. Not about, it's 100 foot by 100 foot. We'll finish it out with a 75 foot by 75 foot aggregate compound. And we also included in the design a solid fence to screen the lower portion. Lower 6 is required by the ordinance, lower 6 feet. I think that's the basics. Are there any questions? Any questions on our theory on how we reach the site location?
You said you had contacted property owners in the area.
Yes, sir.
Did they refuse you, or is this a place that was chosen?
You know, several different things. We approached several different landowners. One landowner was very excited about it, but he was just too far east, and the RF group came back and said, no, you can't, you're too far away from the other two towers, if we go over there. We had another property owner that did refuse us after about 9 months of negotiation. So that was tough. And then Mr. Corey actually had two places on his property. One was closer to a overhead power line, high voltage, which can mess with our signal. So they asked us to move just a hair east from that. So this was several different properties that were considered. We go back to the RF engineers and try to get the best one to fit what they're trying to do for the system performance improvements.
I have a couple questions for you.
Sure.
You stated that you all have reached out to a lot of different towers to see if you could lease. And I also heard you say that the performance requirements that you all want to hit, was there other options in the vicinity that could have worked for some reason and you're choosing not to?
Yeah, the only other tall structure in the area is a site that's about 1.3 miles from the existing Verizon site and doesn't fill the gap for the other two Verizon sites. that was submitted as a possible candidate to the RF engineering group. They rejected it for those reasons.
Okay.
It doesn't fix the problem. If we did that, we'd end up building another tower.
Okay.
And that tower would end up, that installation would end up fighting the existing
Yeah.
tower because of overlapping coverage.
So the second part of my question is, I noticed on the plans that the tower is going directly across the street from a neighbor. Question, could this be moved closer to this gentleman's house versus the neighbor's house directly across the street? Would there be any restrictions of it moving to the west closer to his house? Does that make sense? I looked at, the map was about 900 feet from his house and 400 feet from the neighbor's house across the street.
Right.
Could the tower be moved closer to his house since he's the one leasing the property and not the people across the street? Like why this area specifically here?
Why this area specifically is that we're on farm property. We try to reduce our footprint as much as possible in an active ag field.
Sure.
That's typically the very first thing, right? We're very close to an existing set of silos and set of barns. We're double utilizing the existing access. We don't have to have another curb cut onto the roadway. All those reasons were taken into account. We end up utilizing very little of the ag field.
Sure.
By doing it this way. If I have to go out in the middle of the field, if I have to go down, cut my own road in, now I'm using more.
So was there any high power lines or anything closer to the house that would have restricted it to being built down here?
I mean, the high power lines are that direction.
1/3 away, 1/3 of a mile away.
Okay, so I think the distance was 900 feet, so that's
And it's about 1/3 of a mile.
about a sixth maybe. I guess the question, is it an option, if we were to say no, is it an option to move the tower farther to the west away from this person's home across the street? Is that an option? I know financially you don't want to, but is it an option?
Anything's possible.
Okay. That's all.
I have a question. When you say financially possible, when I think about the neighbors, how they feel about financially, because if the person wants to sell their house, they are financially wanting to know why this has to be here. So what you're saying is, it's okay for you guys to be there at the expense of these homeowners in that area?
Well, 2 points on that. One, we meet the ordinance requirements, so I don't know, again, I know you're saying, well, can you move down here? There's nothing in the ordinance that I see that would require us to move a certain distance in any direction other than what we've already met. Number two, you're talking about property values, I'm assuming?
Yes, in a way.
Okay, so my point on the property values is the Telecommunication Act of 1996 specifically states that property value and any argument in that vein has to come from, not from the petitioner, it has to come from the neighboring property owners. What we've seen in our studies, and all the studies I've seen, there's not a significant hit that you take on your property value presence of the telecommunications tower.
I think we'll hold up on questions right now, and we'll let you sit down, and we will move on to any opposition here. Would you please take a stand? You have 25 minutes in total.
Okay.
If you want to have one speaker or many speakers, you're welcome to do that. You may want to limit yourself accordingly to the total of time. We'll give you an update on time about every 5 minutes.
Well,
Then they have 10 minutes for a rebuttal, and that's the end. And then there'll be questions and discussion with the board.
based on what I just heard, it would be really critical that you please allow me to hand you this, that I've taken a lot of time to prepare.
That's
And I
Mr.
would like for
Lancy.
each board member, please see this.
Was there a copy for each one?
Yes. Thank you. Thank you.
Okay, have you signed in?
No, sir.
Would you
Right here.
go ahead and sign in? And then you may begin when you're ready.
My name is Nancy Andara. My mother is Sandy Flory, who's right here beside me, and I'm going to speak for her. Anything she wants to say, great, but my parents lived there directly. This gentleman here refers to this agriculture area, and I get a real impression that he's not even been there because he wasn't sure of some things. My parents have lived in this property for 60 years, and there's other neighbors directly all around us. So this is not some farmland that's just out in the middle of nowhere for someone to consider a need. And I have some real data on that need that I'd like to address. I've also been in real estate for 28 years. I have averaged over 700 buyers and easily over 1,000 sellers over those years. So I can certainly talk about home values. And I also would like to, my parents have sold their property, which is, I don't want to skip around here. Where this tower is being placed, I blown up these pictures, I can send them to you. But this is my parents' driveway. Buddy Corey, Mr. Corey lives right here, and he has thousands of acres of farmland that he could choose from. So he has confirmed to my mother 2 days ago that he's planning to put the tower directly right there across the road, which this gentleman, I don't think understands that people live there. My father unfortunately passed away 6 months ago, and he enjoyed, with my mother, they're known for sitting out front of their home. Everyone knows they sit in their swing out front. I can't imagine this being across the street with 75 feet of fence and 100 by 100 in a tower. You talk about saving money on lights. I have done so much studying on lights and generators and people there servicing these. We fiercely oppose this. We are devastated and stunned that such a structure would be proposed in this location, especially by Mr. Corey, who's been our neighbor for years. To propose this communication tower being considered this place directly across from my mother's home is devastating to us. My mother can no longer live there. She's now in Florida with me. We take this so serious. We flew in today to speak with all of you to talk about this. Her nephew is here behind us, and he is under contract to purchase this home. It is a $400,000 home, so it's not an inexpensive home in this area. It's been loved and cherished by my family, and she would like to have her nephew have it so that she can continue to come back and enjoy her home, but she cannot live there full time. Adjacent to this property is 5 acres. There's 2 acres where the home is and 5 acres. Mr. Corey approached my mother to sell that. We didn't understand why. He would have put it in her kitchen window. That 5 acres is directly in front of where this tower is going to go. And Chad is planning to put grass, lawn, a lake with a pond, with a secondary structure that my mom can come, a guest house for my mom to be able to come and visit as she chooses. So this is a huge impact on our family. Chad will let Chad speak, but he is no longer interested in purchasing this property if this tower goes in. So there is a very direct impact on real estate. So I find it probably unsellable, frankly, if that were to happen. You talk about a need. In my pages, I have what I have researched and submitted on 12 reasons why you would never put this in a residential area. And there are other homeowners here, and I know are going to be speaking out to you about this. The impact of it is huge, health-wise, aesthetically. What I found to be incredible is that The data for Grant County has a significant number of cell towers, particularly concentrated in the city of Marion. The breakdown of these towers are, there are approximately 106 registered cell towers within the city limits, which span a 2.24 square mile. This results in a tower density of over 46 towers per square mile. The concentration is significantly higher than what is typically seen in cities of comparable size. In a 2.7 mile radius of this home are 35 towers. Van Buren, which is just a few miles away, has 12 cell towers. Gas City has 34, Fairmount has 15, Upland has 17. With zip code of 46952, there are 13 towers. And in 46953 is 93 cell towers. So, Mr. Corey, we don't understand why he didn't put it in his backyard. Or his son lives several miles away on acreage, why didn't he put it in his backyard? We believe that Mr. Corey, the landowner leasing this site, reportedly, I know that we know, all of us know how many acres, he owns thousands of acres nearby. He has chosen not to place this tower near his own residence, but rather directly in front of ours. Why here? Why target a residential area with an active home sale and vulnerable homeowners when there are numerous non-residential parcels? We don't even want it at all, but why there? We know why. It is all about profit. It is all about what we know happens with this as a monthly paycheck for approximately 20 years, we assume. We know that that's the time frame involved. So we are so opposed to this, and it's devastating if this were to happen, because I'll allow our family member to directly tell you what his impact would be on purchasing this property.
How are we doing on time, Mr. Clancy?
18 minutes left.
18 minutes left.
Nancy's got this covered up.
I'm sorry. Let me move this.
It's okay. So like Nancy said, my name is Chad Eastburn. I'm Sandy's nephew, her cousin. I think she said everything pretty well, with the exception of, I don't know the Coreys like they do. The area, to me, it looks like there are a lot of other locations that would work. He mentioned that it made sense to put it there because it wouldn't have to disrupt any other areas. What he really means is it wouldn't disrupt the field. That's why Buddy Corey doesn't want to put it towards his house. There's already some buildings there, like he said. That's why he doesn't want to move it down the road, because it would upset his field. As far as the house itself, like Nancy said, my plan was to put a pond in right across from this, and I don't think Buddy knew that, obviously. But this would kind of ruin the whole aspect of that. It's a family home, their home. It's been in my family because of her for years. And I don't know if she would want to come back to it if she had to look at that. So I think Nancy said everything well. I just want to second what she said.
Sorry, let me move this.
Oh, yep. Members of the board, I would like to have my son speak for me. I just had an outpatient operation this afternoon. Okay.
My name is Wendell Cadle. I'm Virgil's son. I'm speaking for him, like he said, because he had outpatient surgery this afternoon, and so he's incapable of expressing his emotions and his feelings about this. And so I'm going to read a letter that he typed out. Hello, I'm Virgil Cadle. I own the property to the east side of Mr. Corey. It is almost directly across from Sandy. I received a notification of a cell phone tower placement, but I didn't respond to it because I have good cell phone reception. But I don't want the cell phone tower there because I do not want to be exposed to the radiation. I don't want to look at it. I don't want it interfering with any of the standard broadcast stations, which it will. And I don't want my neighbors to tolerate it. Within a 3-mile radius of me, there are already 35 towers and antennas, including AT&T, Verizon, and CenturyLink. I have good cell phone reception. I cannot believe that they want to place this tower directly across the road from my good neighbors, Sandy and the late Jim Flores. It's like putting it in their front yard. If they want to put it in somebody's front yard, let them put it in Mr. Corey's front yard. If they have to put the cell tower up, they can easily move it to the west. Mr. Corey owns a mile of farmland almost to I-69 and almost a mile of farmland along I-69 from 200 north to 300 north. Why not place it along the I-69 corridor? I don't need reception. Why not place it next to whoever needs the reception? Better yet, place it in a field where it will not bother any neighbors. That is all. Thank you.
Thank you.
There's 13 minutes left.
Would anyone else like to speak?
Michael Duke, 5180 East, 100 North, Marion, Indiana. I would make a couple of observations that I think these families make compelling arguments. The observations I would make is one, I'll ask a question first. Did I hear that this is an unlighted tower?
That's what he says.
That's what
There's
we said.
no light, no navigation lights on at 190 feet.
199, I think, with the antenna.
Yeah, in that range. I'm going to just guesstimate. I'm maybe about 3 or 4 miles from this location, but in the ag area that I live in with the cornfields and the bean fields, we have crop dusters every year. They come in and fly. Now, granted, they're flying during the daytime, but also a navigation light is going to be one more safeguard or one more precaution for a crop duster flying through and give them warning that there's an obstacle there. That's number one. Number two, there is a cell tower on the property adjacent to me by about, I'm going to say 900 to 1,000 feet. In the time that has been there over the last 25, 30 years, I've had numerous lightning strikes affect me. Once it blew my underground submersible pump in my well. That's just one more lightning rod that's being placed out there, and the proposed location is, as said, that's one more lightning rod for those 2 properties that are sitting there. Thank you.
Thank you. So anyone else to speak in opposition?
I just wanted to say.
If you would come to the podium, please, and sign in.
I try not to do this.
11 minutes left. Just to let you know, you've got 11
Oh,
minutes.
that's okay. I'm Robbie Blue, and I just wanted to say that I am against this. My address is 6302 East, 200 North, Marion. I have a pond on the east side of 69, And we already have enough electric lines out there, not minus, all the cell phone towers. So I just wanted to say I am against it.
We did get her letter.
Yeah.
It's in there.
Is there anyone else? Okay, we will move back for the final 10 minutes with the petitioner's rebuttal.
One question, what was the handout? That the nice lady handed out to everybody? There wasn't an announcement of what it was, I have no idea.
Anyone?
Thank you.
That's why we don't hand it out.
Do we keep this or? No. Okay. Thank you very much.
Any of that information is available to you. It's a public document now.
Yes, sir.
If you want that,
Yeah,
it's available.
trying to get a feel for what was handed off. Okay, so the several items were brought up. One was the property value on the house. Again, and that's why I wanted to look and see what was actually submitted. Technically, that's not, that's hearsay and opinion that was just handed off, not a serious study on the property, either specifically this one or properties in general. Also, we located this site near other structures to try to shield it from the surrounding area. I know it's 199 foot tall, it's not going to shield, right? But it does blend it into the existing structures with the grain bins that are already there. That was the intent, that was one of the intents of putting it there. I already covered the intent that we want to minimize the amount of impact we have on the ag fields. The other question I wanted to bring up, is there an ordinance requirement that I'm missing? I guess that's what I'm trying to figure. And I'm also asking, is there any question on the validity of the request for this tower and the need? Because I heard twice up here, my signal's fine, I don't need a better signal. Do we need to submit additional support to the claim that we need that signal there? We've given propagation maps and a written explanation, but more than happy if we wanted to table this and come back with our RF engineer and he can take you through all the specifics.
We would not dispute whether or not a tower is needed, as we are not experts in that. But what we do decide is this the location it should be in? That's what you're applying for. Because this location is not allowed by right, only by approval of this board's special exception. And so it's the location that is our decision.
Here's another question.
We take into account
here's another
opposition.
Here's another question. Would it be more appropriate to table this and we could look at options that we would have to, as you had asked me, and I'm sorry, I can't remember your name, but you had asked me, can you guys move it X number of feet this way or that? And I'm not saying it's possible because, again, we have to go back to the RF engineers and say, hey, we got to move this, or we're thinking about moving it. with that work with the tower design. And
In a situation like that, if the board does not pass your special exception, you could apply for another location.
okay, so no need to table it, just,
I think we've got the information to make a decision.
okay.
Question, is this the only location Buddy Corey gave you to place the tower?
No, as I said, we were farther to the west on another location, but it was too close to the overhead high voltage power lines, which will mess with our signal if it's that close to it.
That was the other location that he offered you.
That was another location that we looked at.
No, he asked you if he offered you.
Were those the only two locations that he offered you to place a tower?
Yes.
Was that the only two locations available to put that tower?
I don't know that, not my property, but I will say when we looked at the second location, it met all the ordinance requirements and got us away from the power line concerns, so that was the other reason and.
Is this a typical setback from the road?
Yes.
For you to build towers?
Yes.
What's the minimum setback?
Minimum setback is set by the fall radius design of the tower per Indiana statute. Putting the whole number.
No, it's okay.
So,
Okay.
but it could be set back further.
Yeah, but you don't get away from the looks. That's what they're complaining about. It's the looks. They don't want to look out their windows and look right at it. So if you can move it a mile and you still look at it, so you got to get it out there.
On site.
Yeah, on the site that's what I see. You just got to move it out of sight because I think that's what I'm hearing. Everybody.
I don't know that
Everybody
you
know-
can move a 195-foot tower out of somebody's site.
That's exactly what I'm saying. You can, but you can satisfy them by not looking straight ahead, because that's what I heard three of them say. They didn't want to look out the window and not see that tower.
Well, that's probably, it could be 2 miles down the road. They can
That's
see
what
it.
I just said.
Yeah, I have a tower that's an adjoining pasture of mine, and I measured it from the road today, and it's right off of 69. It's 150 feet from the center of the road to where the first structure of the tower is, which I believe is where the setback has to be to the first structure, correct? Your fence could be within that. Is that the way it reads, the setback to the structure?
Well, when I measured it, I measured to this first structure because that structure was before the tower, was closer to the road.
How far is your fence going to be off of the road?
It looks like 70 feet, what I can see from Center Road to the fence, 69.88 feet, if I'm reading that correctly.
I mean, as a farmer, I understand why Buddy wants it there. Okay, because that is a building site, and he doesn't have, he's gonna have to, somebody's gonna grow grass or do something for that little dab between the road and your fence. But, the idea was to not disrupt the agricultural farming any more than he has to. Okay, my question is, why wasn't it moved back to the back of that farm lot instead of as close as it could be? I understand it's convenience for you to have a driveway coming off of his existing driveway.
Right.
Okay.
These questions do not count against your 10 minutes.
Oh, okay.
I paused it. You've got 5 minutes and 30 seconds left.
So we'll give you a couple more minutes if you need it.
Thank you. Sorry. So it's 108 feet to the center of the tower, so it'll be 58 feet from the center of the road. The way it's designed right.
That's not very far.
2 pages down.
Okay.
He has a nice job of that. which is why one more. So that's on sheet C-1A.
That's the. It can be from the height of the house, it's gonna be 199. It should be 199 away from the center.
And what's the dimensions of the
But he's
actual,
trying to give the impression
the leased area?
The lease area is 100
not
foot
see
wide.
that half tower because
This is
or
now
like
70.
land, you just don't want to see it. But in reality, what they're saying is, because this tower.
You're saying this is Silicon Valley 75,
What I do.
edge to edge here?
Sell my property with money.
So that's like a,
This tower, make sure that will be the message. I don't want to hear that because once I see the house, it's fine, it's beautiful. But if I look back, that's when the deal's on. And I know that from a real estate.
it's in the road's about 55 feet from the edge of the road probably. It's about 55 feet from the edge of the road to the beginning
But
of
that's not the problem.
the fence, I believe. Which is, yeah, I mean, it's not much more than we.
So why can't he have the tower sit in the back of the building? Yeah. What happened with that?
Do you know how tall these bins are? How tall the silos are, or the buildings in this area? 40? Has anybody been there?
It's 40, well, it's 35.
Might be 25 or so.
So,
Yeah.
okay, so it's gonna tower way over that.
Oh, yeah, you can't.
Okay.
Yeah.
So, but it's gonna be, and again, that's one of the reasons we go near bids like that, is to
Yeah, try to blend it.
not create another view shed, right? Putting in next to something that's already there.
I don't think they're across, I guess it's, I thought the bins were behind it.
They're to the side.
Yeah.
East of it.
Yeah, right.
They're just a little, one of them's more behind of it than the other one, right?
Yes.
That's what I'm saying, they moved, they put it close.
Well, sir, do you have anything else you wanted to add to your rebuttal statement?
Oh, no, sir, I don't believe so.
Okay, at this time, then, the public hearing is closed, and it's time for board deliberations, and questions can be asked of anyone who spoke in this hearing. If you want further information, if you want to deliberate this among yourselves, that's the way we will go forward.
For us to speak?
Yes, for you.
Okay.
Yes, all of us.
He said the company, the tower company did a survey, had documents to show that they didn't have a problem, that it was okay. Those documents turned into you, because otherwise we're just taking his word for it.
Right. That's
Well, they
exactly
turned in
right.
The survey, this guy's company, was the survey turned in? The documents?
The survey of how many towers?
No, not that, about
Where
people.
was the best to put it?
Yeah, right.
They had different places where it was best for them to send out signals.
Did you say RF study or something like that?
Well, yeah, he says that they done some kind of a study, and he said that, but with those documents that he,
Is there a study of where the tower needs to be?
Yeah.
You had an engineer, somebody that did a study. Do you have a copy of that?
Yes, we have the RF propagation maps, which shows the resultant signal from where we're going to put the proposed tower and how it fits into the existing system.
So what was that range of ping to ping that you're trying to reach?
We're trying to,
Couple miles?
yes, 2 to 3 miles is what each individual cell site will affect.
You contacted all landowners within that range of pink.
I'm sure we did not.
Is this what you're talking about here?
Today,
Is this what you're talking about here? Okay.
so the first one shows the three nearest.
It's like 5 pages from the back, I think. The thicker packet that's application for special exemption.
So do you do a visual inspection of potential sites before you contact landowners?
Visual inspection.
Do you drive the area and look before you reach out to landowners?
Yes.
So you kind of target landowners?
Yeah, we do Google Earth to try to make sure that we were on a parcel that's big enough to meet the zoning requirements. Then we do door knocks and basically try to reach somebody, because in today's world, we just don't have any luck phoning. So that's typically what we do. And in this case, we covered a wide swath from clear to the east, all the way over past I-69, talking to folks. And then again, once we got willing participants, we take those to our RF engineering group and say, hey, here's the options we have, and they will select the option that best suits the needs that they're trying to fill.
So you could have gone west of 69 as well?
No, but I'm telling you, that's what I'm telling you. We did go west of 69 because we weren't able to locate a potential east of 69. But when we took that potential to the RF group, they rejected it because it left that tower to the southeast that's already active, left it out on an island, and what you'll get is you'll get to build another tower.
Sure.
Down the road. So this one, if you look at the propagation maps, we did as good a job as we could do for our RF engineering group to get them right in the middle of all three towers. So each tower is almost like a honeycomb, right? And they fit together if it's designed right and if we get them in the right spot. So we don't want them overlapping. We don't want big gaps in them, because then you create a service gap that now you're going to have to fill eventually if you can, right? So this, by locating where we're locating, it is, and it's not exactly in the middle of those three towers, but it's pretty darn close. It's just shifted just slightly to the north. But it works perfect for what we're trying to do with the system improvements. And that's why RF selected that. So we looked at several. This is what worked and brings the system performance to the level that they're trying to get it to.
Can I ask a question, Randy?
Sure.
Is this map showing the only towers in this region, or are you just trying to show us what you're trying to accomplish between these three towers? Are there other towers that are not shown on this map?
There's nothing in that view shed. There's no other existing Verizon towers in that view shed.
So my question is, I see a good, better, best legend over here.
Mm-hmm.
Is the goal that everything is best? I mean, what are you guys trying to accomplish? What I see, the reason I'm asking is, on this map, we have 6% is probably best. And you guys are trying to fill the gap, and I understand what you're trying to accomplish. It makes sense. What is the goal? Like, what are you trying to accomplish? Long time, 20 years from now, what are you trying to accomplish here?
What we're trying to accomplish is to have those three towers are far enough away from each other. We're having problems with the service in between.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, they basically sit in a nice triangle. So the RF and system performance folks both have reviewed this, said, hey, if we got something right here, we'd have less dropped calls, we'd have less, we could offload those sites already that are already overburdened, right? So those two are the goals. We want to upgrade the performance, and by offloading some of the traffic off of the existing cell sites, pull that in and make those better cell sites, in addition to increasing the coverage in that localized area as well.
Okay.
But, and again, we're doing that dance. you know, 69 runs right there, well, why don't you just put it on 69? Then we have a problem with that southeast side, right? And that's what pushed us where we are. And again, we offered the RF several different options to the east, to the west. They rejected those because it didn't bring the system performance to where they're trying to get.
You gotta ask an awkward question. What will the rent be that will Corey accept for this tower to be there? Are you buying the property where the tower's at?
Yes.
Are you renting?
Leasing.
Leasing,
Yes.
okay, leasing. What's the cost of that?
The cost of the lease,
To the owner, to the property owner?
there's no cost to the property.
No.
What is the amount that they receive for having leasing the property?
What kind of revenues he generating
Yeah,
from the
there
lease?
you go.
Monthly,
What am I getting from Mr. Corey on a monthly basis?
yeah.
Is that
What
what
you're
you're asking
paying,
me?
what you're
Now,
paying.
what's he getting from you?
That's what I said.
Yes.
Yeah. I'm not at liberty to say.
Okay, so what's the standard without mentioning his name? We'd say between $500 and $1,000 per month? Is that estimated, rounded up out? I'm very smart.
I'm not sure that's part of our decision.
Well, but to research all the,
And he's turned down because it's confidential and I
yeah,
don't
I
think he has
understand.
to.
He didn't
Said it would be an awkward question.
Can I ask a question here?
Sure.
If we bring this up for a vote, and I'm not sure where everybody's going, if we bring this up for a vote and it doesn't pass, he can go back and do another, right? Pretty quick.
Yeah.
So I say, let's go ahead and take a vote.
Yeah.
I'm gonna bring up whenever it's time.
Right,
His
So we can
options
vote, and then if it doesn't pass, then he knows what he's gotta do.
yeah.
to clearly lay this out.
Yeah.
He can go someplace else. Or if he's dead set on this, he can reapply in a year.
Yeah.
If it doesn't
I knew
pass.
the year, but I knew if he moved, he could go pretty quick.
Yeah.
So that would,
I know nobody asked me a question, but we don't want to wait a year.
oh, I know that. I don't want you to wait a year. I'm
I just
talking
giving
about.
you the options, not
No, I'm
choosing for
aware
it.
of that option.
But if it was denied, he could move it
Somewhere else.
800 feet down the road and apply tomorrow.
Yes.
Okay, that's what I wanted.
That's what
I wanted to know. Yes.
I'm saying.
But some, I don't know what in your ordinance you're gonna point to and go, hey, we're rejecting it, you gotta move it 800 feet because of this ordinance requirement. I'm just.
No, there's not an ordinance requirement, but if you read in the special exceptions and reasons the board considers, this board is unique in that it can evaluate impacts to other property owners and take that into consideration when making a decision. This board will evaluate issues with welfare. Welfare includes impacts to property value as well.
That's what I was saying.
Yeah.
So,
So that is part of the code.
yeah, so in light of that, if there's a question about the property value, would it not make sense to, again, allow us to submit actual evidence on the property value impact?
No, he should have done all this before he put it back together.
Should we respond to that, Ed?
Here's what I'm trying to avoid. What I'm trying to avoid is you moving
I could really have an opinion
now I
about
got somebody else I'm posted in the backyard. Now I got the exact same complaint, just change the faces of who's sitting behind.
I think that's a never-ending situation
I know.
where
that's
something
what-
else could always be brought up. But that's almost an obvious concern that you should have taken into account in preparation for this hearing is that what if somebody says this impacts my property? It impacts my view. It impacts my way of life. It's detrimental to my property value. And you could probably find a real estate agent or an appraiser that says it doesn't. And they could probably find as many or more that say it does. And some things do impact property values, such as solar farms. They're huge, but not as tall. And the Indiana Court of Appeals upheld property value diminution by solar farms. And it was appealed to the Supreme Court of Indiana, which let it stand. They would not take it up. So there are things that do impact property values. And I'm not going to argue for or against that right now, but that is a fact. So I don't know that you're bringing people in saying that, oh, it doesn't impact, and they're bringing in people saying it does, is going to change that situation. And I think you've done your work, and I think they've made their best case. I don't think there's a reason to table this one to another date.
Fair enough.
Fair enough. Okay, you may be seated. Thank you, sir. Okay, board. Do you want to deliberate this among yourselves? Any further? All questions? Okay. Then we are ready for a motion whenever you are ready.
I'd like to make a motion that we deny the application and let this,
You gotta help out or?
oh, okay. They didn't have mics. I'd like to make a motion that we deny this application for now, and then they can come up with another location if possible, and reapply, because they have all the experts on their side to explain to us what needs to be done, whereas these people here, they don't have the experts. They're not experts. You have one lady, she's a
But they
realtor.
were bringing out stuff that causes cancer and all that stuff. That means they're not experts either. They brought out a lot of stuff that shouldn't have been brought out.
Yeah, they did.
You didn't supply any information. You said somebody gets sick or somebody's gonna get I can say that too. I'm saying they didn't bring out anything either.
Right.
That's all part of you weighing this decision.
That's what I'm saying.
Yes.
There's without a doubt some inaccuracies in the testimony that was given. Buddy Corey doesn't own thousands of acres. He does own a lot of acres in that general area, but he doesn't own thousands.
That's what I say. Did you make a motion, Lois? I'm not gonna second that, because I'm gonna go with the other.
That's fine.
Lois made a motion to deny the application. Is there a second?
I would second it.
Okay, we have a motion by Mrs. Jones and a second by Mr. Young. Is there any further discussion of this motion?
I don't think anybody likes to drop calls. My personal opinion is the tower's too close to the road. I believe it could be placed further back. I understand completely why it's aligned with the farm setting that's there. As a farmer, I would probably try and do something like that myself rather than have to farm around it for the rest of my life. I understand that completely. Would I like to see a shot at a different location? Yes, I would.
And that's the reason I'm seconding it also, is I think we can solve the problem in a different location without greatly impacting a couple of families.
So how quickly could this gentleman come back with a new proposal? If he and Mr. Corey can agree to a different location? As quickly as they could put it together?
Could be next month.
The cutoff date is exactly when? Mr. Clancy, do you have a calendar in front of you? We're already into the 19th.
I can get that date to them. I mean.
It's getting close to the date right now.
Cutoff time.
For June.
Yeah, for June, we're already past that date for June.
And we don't meet in July normally.
Not normally unless we call a special meeting.
We have met in July.
We have met in July when there was
One time.
a need for a special meeting, yes. We would probably be flexible and grant a special meeting as soon as they got it together, and there was the 2 weeks for putting out the sign, 10 days for doing the advertising. Those are, I'd say we would make that option available.
And we got it.
Board, there is a motion on the floor,
Yes.
and you've just debated it. Are we ready for a roll call vote? Hearing no other discussion. Mr. Glancy, would you give us a roll call?
Randy Atkins.
Always first.
Yes. Say
Bill
yes.
Johnson.
No.
Yes.
Lois Jones.
Yes.
Bruce Long.
Yes.
John Pearson.
Yes.
Daniel Young.
Yes.
Ed Hartman.
I will not vote. My vote is not needed. The motion passed. This location is denied a special exception. At this time, I see no old business on the agenda. There is a time for public comment time where anyone can address the board on issues that this board has jurisdiction over. Hearing no one wanting to address the board,
I do,
we have one person.
yeah.
You come forward.
There were these comments about putting the tower in a space that blended. I have a picture that clearly shows you the height of the barns that it was gonna go by. So, I don't know if you want that, but to keep reapplying to put it near there, I mean, there is no other structures near there that could blend in with. And he says there's no financial loss in this. I mean, I could continue to not be able to sell this property unless there's a definite no, it's not happening near there. Because he says, do you need cell tower? I've paid for my mother's phone for over 20 years. It's the same phone number. I call her 5 days a week. I can prove it. 5 times a day, I've never had a lost call. And I don't understand that there's 35 towers within a 2.7 mile radius.
I
So
think
how,
it is actually 9, and there are 35 antennas, many multiple antennas on some of those towers.
so if I'm understanding, he could come back and put it a few hundred feet down the road.
Yes.
Possibly. I can't prejudge that.